All right. Give it up for Billy T-Bone Tolliver.
Keep it going for Colton Drake. He's a really good job. I know he looks like a fatter version of Willie Robertson. That's okay. That's okay. Josiah was up here talking about Rugrats. He looks like he ate Chucky. Maybe 2 times, I don't know. Blake Frank was talking about doing drugs. These are jokes, kids. Not really. I got my kids here, so. I took mushrooms for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know there was rules for this. I ate them at home alone by myself. Apparently, you're not supposed to do that. And I didn't know what to do. I got like a very emotional. I was watching TV. I didn't know what to watch on TV. I started Googling like, what are you supposed to watch while you're on mushrooms? And I couldn't read, so I turned on this show, Bling Empire. You know this show, Bling Empire on Netflix? Basically, the gist of it is like billionaire trust fund Asians just living the dream. And I was getting emotional watching it because like they would go to lunch together. Like one of them would ask the other one, like, "Hey, you want to go to Mexico tomorrow? We'll rent a private jet, take off." And so I got really sad because I don't have any friends. And I don't have any that could take me anywhere. So that was kind of sad for me. Kind of sad. How come easy open packages aren't? I don't understand that. I'm a pretty big fella. I just want to get into the kielbasa sausage, but for some reason I gotta chop it half the way up before I get it. I am undefeated at opening pickle jars though. Bread and butter pickle jar, Walmart, great value. Almost got me the other day. And the kids did get a few shards of glass with their pickles, but I got it open. I got it open inside. Do any of you watch Netflix alone? I'm not talking about sitting at home sad, lonely watching Netflix. I'm talking about this series. There's a series on there called Alone. I love it. I love it. It's a great series. But I think they should rename it to Watching People Slowly Starve to Death by Themselves. That's the whole premise of the whole show. It's very interesting though, because watching it made me realize the vegan diet is, it's a lie. It's a lie. None of those people make it very far in that show. But it is kind of hilarious to watch them get starved to the point where they have to trap bunny rabbits and skin them and cry over their morally compromised meal. It's pretty funny to me. I have decided though that, because I'm getting to that age where I think about, well, back it up, I was a mortician for 20 years, so I do think about death a lot. And I thought that if I ever get like a terminal illness, I'm going to sign up for that show, you know. That looks like the longest 60 to 70 days of your life. You're living the dream out there. Every day is forever. Like, you're waiting for somebody to come check your blood pressure, make sure you're still healthy. Pretty fun. I'm broke. I'm a broke guy. I've had two divorces. I pay child support, so I don't know why I do comedy. It's just, I don't know. It's just an outlet, I guess, at this point. But I was at Dollar Tree the other day, checking out, and a guy walks up to return stuff to Dollar Tree, which I had no idea that was even an option. Like, I thought, like, if you bought something at $1.25 Tree, you're just out $1.25. Like, you spent more money on gas to come back here to get a refund for those paper plates. Just use them as kindling or something. I've been listening. How Father's Day weekend? Any fathers out? Fathers? I keep hearing this commercial for Home Depot, and they keep saying that get your fathers outside. Like, get them outside the yard. Like, we're not already doing that. Like, it's weird. What if they did that for women? We're like, keep her in the kitchen. Keep her in the kitchen. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Don't buy her a watch for Mother's Day. She's already got 2 clocks in the kitchen. One on the microwave, one on the stove. Come to Home Depot, get her a new mop and vacuum. Happy Mother's Day. I'm a father. I got my boys here tonight. I get a lot of material from them. Like, one time, well, this is the time of year when, like, you go downtown and people are always outside with their cardboard signs. And I'm not talking about the homeless type, because we're in Coeur d'Alene. We're better than you. Anyway, like, so there's people with their cardboard signs, and one day we're driving downtown, and my son's like, "What are they doing, Dad? Are they prostituting?" And I was like, I think the word you're looking for is protesting. It's similar to prostituting, but nobody's buying what these people are selling, Also, I remember I took them to China, like a China buffet one time, and we're sitting there. It was the first time they'd ever been to like a Chinese buffet, and they're like, "Man, this is the best Chinese food I've ever had." And I was like, "French fries, pizza, and chocolate pudding are not exclusively Chinese. You can make that instantly at Walmart." Kids are fun. There's a lot of things, like my youngest son, he was potty trained pretty early, but he absolutely refused to wipe his own butt. So there was like a time where it was very annoying too, because anytime during the day you might hear, "Dad, come wipe me." And I'm like, "Bro, you're old enough to wipe that dirty little hole yourself, huh? I'm just gonna let that itch until you figure it out." And I have no idea, like, how old your kids are and stuff, but like, what goes on in the bathroom when they're brushing their teeth? Like, I don't know, when I go in there, it looks like a blind Bob Ross toothpaste competition or something. I'm like, how does a 4-year-old get toothpaste 10 feet up on the ceiling? I don't know what's going on. And I've never seen it in any parenting book or parenting manual or YouTube video. Why I need scissors for the toilet. With these Clogzillas over here, I have no idea. You definitely need more water and fiber in your diets, buddy. Need more. I started doing comedy mainly because kids are difficult, and I don't want to go to jail. So I just come out here and tell jokes, And also, I started doing comedy 2 years ago. At the time, my oldest son he had been diagnosed with leukemia, and I've always been one to like write down things, take notes, whatever. He's like, "You're pretty funny," and I'm like, I don't know if this was a joke on his part. He's like, "You should go try stand up, so you can be as miserable as I am," because he was dying of cancer, and he did survive. He survived cancer. Yeah. I was hoping you would clap. It's unfortunate that he survived. It's unfortunate. Sometimes, like, I don't know. Like, maybe they shouldn't go to the extremes to save some of these kids. It's just a lot of time, energy, and money. A lot of mileage on the car. A lot of pain and suffering for all involved. But here's the problem. So he got diagnosed with leukemia before like going into puberty, and he was like kind of frustrated because he was like, "Man, this sucks. I was just getting hot. He got diagnosed with B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and that was his response. Dude, I was just getting hot, man. Like, this is a bummer. And I was like, yeah, you might die, bro. Like, this is crazy. But it's kind of weird because like the methotrexate and all the chemotherapy drugs made like all his body fluids toxic. So the only time in his life he's had a murderous meat mallet, and he could not even use it, you know, because he could give a lady throat cancer or something. So because he was toxic, and yeah, it was. He survived. He survived. You know, it's weird too because they have like a box at the fire station where you could take an unwanted kid. I don't know if you know this or not. But a 17-year-old doesn't fit in that box. I tried to take him there several times. They always end up calling the police on me. And I'm like, well, you have a box right here that says I can bring a kid. I don't want him no more. Like, can't you take him? I just put him in the dog kennel. I mean, I leave him with food and water and everything, but the police always tell me to take him back home. I don't know what to do at this point, you know. He did get a Make-A-Wish trip out of this deal to Disney World in Orlando. But because of COVID delays, the trip got delayed so bad that by the time we got to take the trip, he didn't look like he needed one anymore. Because he wasn't no longer like, you know, half dead. And he was 6'2" and 140 pounds, 30, 40 pounds at the time. So before we went on this trip, I had told him, sat down with him, I was like, we have to make some adjustments in your life. And he's like, what are you talking about, dude? And I'm like, well, a couple weeks out, we're going to stop feeding you. We're going to keep you indoors. We don't want you looking too healthy. And the night before we take this trip, we're going to shave your head. Because we want it to look like you earned this trip. You know? I mean, we already wasted all this money on cancer treatment. We don't want them to look like you wasted money for this Make-A-Wish, you know. But no, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I do love these boys. I love you guys. They're great. Like I said, I was a mortician. I don't know how much time I've been. I've only done 6 minutes.
No, we got 12.
Oh, okay. I used to be a mortician, and it was weird. First Christmas party I went to, I was sat next to like the guy that started the business, and he was like, "Hey, bro, you need to." He didn't say "Hey, bro" because he's like 90. They don't talk like that, but he was like, "Hey, you need to shave your facial hair off because people don't trust men with beards." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "That's kind of weird." I was like, "What about?" I have a few questions for you. What about Abraham Lincoln? Like they called him Honest Abe, right? He had a beard. Like Santa Claus, he's got a beard, fat. They put kids on his lap all the time, no problem. Also, I gotta ask you, have you put your trust in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? He had a beard, you know. Being a mortician was interesting because everybody's always like, "That would be great. Your customers are always silent." And I'm like, it's not the dead people that were the problem. It's all these breathing survivors that are the issue. They're like lacking. They don't have a very good sense of humor, which is weird because fun is in funeral, but they're not fun. They're not fun. It's way easier to talk in front of you guys. If you're drinking beer and having a good time, living the dream, you're not thinking about death until a former mortician gets up here and starts talking about it. But funeral service is interesting. I always say, like, for instance, some of you, let me see here. Some of you might be around the age like me where you're only on Facebook for the obituary notifications for your high school classmates. I got a winner over here. But like, for instance, if you saw like one of your friends from middle school died, and you haven't seen that one. Oh, almost messed up there. You haven't seen that guy since middle school. If he's having like a Friday or Monday funeral, you're gonna go to that one. So you can get that free 3-day weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like on Friday or Monday service is great. The only thing that is annoying to me about like funerals themselves was the pastors that would take advantage of the captive audience, you know, and they would be like preaching, trying to get you to come to Jesus, talking about how great this dead person was, and you're like, that dead guy was a piece of trash. Like, I knew him personally, and he died in a drunk driving wreck, like the only drunk driver to ever die, and you're right here telling me how he wants me to give my heart to the Lord. You're like, I don't think so, pal. I don't think so. I guess I'll move on to something else here. Growing up, the mortician stuff is not, it's dead in here, it's dead in here. Anybody else grew up and have barely touched me scars? Barely? I have barely touched me scars. Like, for instance, I have one on my knee that looks like a meat tenderizer mallet, because that's what my brother barely touched me with when we were having an altercation one time. I have another one on my hand. When the CO2 BB guns came out, he wanted to test the air, and he shot a BB in my hand, and I had to have surgery. And I was down there visiting him for Thanksgiving last year, and he goes, well, what about the time you stabbed me? And I was like, I barely touched you with the tip. And I was the one that called the ambulance to save your life. Some people are ungrateful, you know? Anyway, I'm Billy T-Bone Tolliver, that's my time.
Yeah, keep it going for Billy T-Bone, everybody. All right, are you guys ready for your closer for tonight? My man, the reason we're here tonight to celebrate his year in comedy, give it up for Anthony Single.